Hi guys, it's Lanikia, and I'm coming to you with a new show that I'm reviewing called The Act. It is season 1, episode 1. And if you haven't already, you can Google the story of Gypsy. It's really intriguing and interesting. But Hulu has made a series out of it, and this is the series. So we start off with the neighbors banging on the door trying to get in. And one and the young lady is on the phone and she's talking to a dispatcher and she's telling them that they need to send help over, and the dispatcher is asking her why, and she says because she thinks something has gone horribly wrong to the neighbors next door because she saw some Facebook posts. So they asked her what the Facebook post said, and she said on the post someone said that they gutted the mother and then they raped Gypsy, and you should have heard her screams and everything. So of course the police are going to be dispatched. Now that was in June 14th of 2015. It is a true story, by the way. And I'm sure if you're watching this and everything, you know that. But so then we go back to how it all kind of started unfolding. So Gypsy and her mother have just moved to this town, and they're in a home given to them by Habitat for Humanity, and they're excited. They're doing a report with the woman, a newscaster, a news reporter, and she's just talking to them about how they feel about having their own home and everything being there. And so Dee Dee, who is Gypsy's mother, is doing a lot of speaking. She's doing a lot of the talking and everything. So the reporter asks Gypsy a question like, how do you feel, about making new friends and everything? And Gypsy is about to answer. Well, as she's answering, her mother answers right along with her. So you can see right there that the mother likes to be in control of everything. And the reporter actually had to tell her, please allow Gypsy to answer or whatever. Because at first Gypsy's answer was, she was excited to make new friends. Then her answer changed to, well, my mother's my best friend and everything. And they love, they get to go to conventions, and she loves like Disney and everything. Um, so the next scene, we see the mom is shaving Gypsy's hair because Gypsy is bald, and I guess it's to keep up the front that she's sick. So the mom is shaving Gypsy's hair, and we see that Gypsy just tells her mom, "I wonder what it would be like if it were able to be, to grow out, what it would look like." And the mom was like, "Oh, it'd be a mess or matted or something like mine." Um, so then we see that we can okay so then we see that they, just because of what they're saying, so Gypsy says that she likes the house and she hopes they don't have to move. So we can tell they move around a lot because her mom's like, oh, we're not gonna have to move, and Gypsy's like, you said that in the last town that they were in or whatever. So you could kind of get the feeling that they move around a lot. And the mother is just like, the government gave, like, this house is in our, it's ours because it's in my name and everything, so we're gonna be here. And so that's that. And then we see that she has to sleep with the mom because the mom puts her in bed. Oh, she has to eat through a sleeping tube. We see that as well when they're talking about having to move around. That the mother has her eating through a sleeping tube. Excuse me, sleeping tube, through a feeding tube. So I don't know. It's just really weird. Like, if you didn't know the story, you would think Gypsy was really sick. I mean, you would be like, why is the mother shaving her head? But then you could even like justify that. Well, maybe her hair grows in patches or something, and she just wants it all shaven so it can be even and everything. But it's just really weird. So then the mother, we see them going to bed, and the mother puts her on like this sleeping mask and everything. And then we see Dee Dee go to the closet, and she opens up the medicine cabinet, and it is just filled with medication. And it leads you to think that Dee Dee, because Dee Dee takes some pills, and you're kind of like, is she a pill popper? It leads you to believe that because it's just so filled with medication. Um, so then we see the next door neighbors. This is where we meet them. So the daughter name is Lacey, and the mother name is named Mel. And Lacey wants to go over and meet Dee Dee and Gypsy because she saw the report about them on the news. But Mel is like, nah, I'm good. She worked the night before, and she's probably been drinking, so she's gonna stay in the couch or whatever. So then Lacey goes ahead and she goes over to meet her. and so she knocks on their door, and Dee Dee lets her in, and she says that she saw their report, and like she volunteers. And I guess she volunteers with young girls and everything, and sometimes they do their makeup, and she wanted to know what Gypsy like her to do her makeup. So Gypsy, of course, wants to, and Dee Dee agrees. So Lacey starts doing Gypsy's makeup. And even with that, like they're talking, just girl stuff. They're talking and everything. And they share a bond with each other. And Gypsy does tell Lacey that she could walk at one point. Her mother told her that she was able to walk, but her dad said she, used to make fun of because she walked funny. And so Lacey was like, well, we have something in common about their dads being, bad parent, deadbeat dads or bad parents or whatever. So they make it seem, just from that, they make it seem like Gypsy's dad is not really involved and he's not in her life that way. So then we see that even though Gypsy and Lacey are in Dee Dee's home, they're not doing anything. All they're doing is makeup. Dee Dee is very close, lurking by. Like even in that, like she won't give Gypsy that much privacy. She's lurking by, kind of listening in and everything on that. So and so then when Lacey leaves, because she gets a phone call and so she has to leave. Oh, and Lacey tells, she has this pretty necklace on that Gypsy really thought was cute. And Lacey tells her she got it from her boyfriend and everything. So Gypsy's like, you have a boyfriend? And her voice is so, she talks like a little baby. So anyways, after Lacey leaves, because she gets a phone call, so she has to leave, Dee Dee comes and she's talking to Gypsy, because Gypsy is looking out the window across the street at Mel and Lacey's house, because she had a great afternoon. She feels like she made a friend. And Dee Dee comes and they're talking and everything, and Gypsy was telling how she enjoyed Lacey and she was really nice. And Dee Dee was like, yeah, I'm glad you're making a friend or whatever, but isn't it weird how the mother didn't come over? Like, I see she came alone. And, like, you could tell that Dee Dee is just, it seems like she's just possessive over Gypsy and really jealous of anything. And then so late, a few seconds later, she looks at Gypsy and removes her glasses. Then she walks away and comes back and tells Gypsy to wipe the makeup off her face that Lacey had done for her. And of course, Gypsy wanted to keep it on longer, and she was like, no. Her mother tells her, I know you want to be like all the other girls, but I like you special, which that's pretty much how the mother wanted her. Like she wanted her to be sick. Whereas Gypsy is like all of the other girls, but Dee Dee wants her to be sick. So she was like, I like you special, or whatever. So reluctantly, Gypsy wipes off all the makeup and everything that Lacey's put on her. So then we go, and we see Mel on the porch, with Shelly and, okay. So they're on the porch with Shelly, and she has Lacey and her boyfriend and washing her car and everything, because she's mad at Lacey about something, so she's making her wash her car as punishment. But Gypsy comes outside and she sees them and she tells her mother, can we go over and please say hi? Because of course she likes Lacey. So her mother was like, yeah, we could go over and speak to them or whatever. So she goes over and she says hi to them. And as she's saying hi, Dee Dee goes and speaks to Mel. So as Dee Dee is speaking to Mel, Mel is rude. she's really rude. Like because Mel is like a no nonsense, see right through people. And so she sees through. She doesn't like Dee Dee off her first impression of her. And Mel is just pretty much saying that she raises her daughter to be very independent. You got to get out there and do for yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. You can't, I'm not going to baby you. You're going to, you're going to do it for yourself. And so Shelly is just like, don't pay attention to Mel. She's nicer than what she seems. But Dee Dee is like, well, everyone can't be like that, Mel. Like my Gypsy. And so she goes to this whole, and if you listen to, I don't know if that's exactly how Gypsy's mom sounded, but if you listen to the way Patricia Arquette is playing the role, it sounds like it's with Dee Dee. It's like the woe is me, like, oh, I wish I could be this, I wish I could do that for Gypsy, but she needs my help. I don't know what she would do without me. It's just like a woe is me, like I can't. I could never have my daughter like that. Everyone doesn't have that option, which really she does, because there's nothing wrong with Gypsy, or whatever. So anyways, she tells them that the dad couldn't handle the care of Gypsy. So again, it's a phrase where they're making it seem like the dad didn't want to be in Gypsy's life. So anyways, as they're speaking and everything, Dee Dee sees Gypsy about to have sugar. So Lacey gives offers Gypsy some of her coke. I don't know why I keep mixing up the names. So Lacey offers Gypsy some of her coke, and Dee Dee sees this, and Dee Dee just goes into a panic. She's like, oh my gosh, she's allergic to sugar. She has a sugar allergy. We've been in the hospital 6 times. I don't want to make it 7. Like, she is so dramatic about this. And she dashes back home or whatever. And everybody's just, because Mel is like, she can't just have a sip. Like, they're all like, wow, that's pretty dramatic. And so then Dee Dee puts this guilt trip when she and Gypsy get back home about, do you know what could happen if you had sugar? Do you know how I feel? What would that would do? All of that onto Gypsy. And it's just like, she puts the guilt trip to make Gypsy stay in her place, pretty much. So then to make Gypsy feel better and everything okay, and just to relieve stress, they decide, okay, let's go to the mall. So as they're in the mall, Gypsy sees the necklace that Lacey has. So Gypsy wants it. So she tells her mom, hey, I see this, can we get it? And Dee Dee is like, no, you want that or whatever. And Gypsy's like, please, mom, no one's looking. So when they thought no one was looking, they swiped the necklace, but lo and behold, Mel is upstairs looking down, and she sees them do this or whatever. And so then Dee Dee jets out of the mall. Gypsy has no clue that Mel has saw them do this, but they jet set out of the mall when they see her. So then later on we see Mel comes outside. Gypsy and Dee Dee are working in the garden. Gypsy wants to go inside, but Dee Dee won't let her. She's like, just a few more minutes. So it's really like whatever Dee Dee wants to do, Gypsy just has to do. Like whether it's working in the garden, wherever Dee Dee is, Gypsy, she's just there. Or whatever. She has no freedom, even though she has a wheelchair and everything. She still has no freedom. Like, you could roll yourself somewhere else. But so Mel comes outside, and Gypsy's like, hey, Mel, because she's so sweet. Mel speaks back to her or whatever, because Mel doesn't see it as being Gypsy's fault that they were stealing in the store. She looks at that as that's the mother's fault, and you could tell she feels that way because when Dee Dee speaks to Mel, Mel does not speak back to her. So Dee Dee wants to talk. But Shelly is there. So when they see each other later, Dee Dee wants to try to talk to Mel just to explain everything that was going on. But Shelly is there. And of course, Dee Dee doesn't want Shelly to know that Mel caught her stealing. So she kind of backs down and says she was just needing some butter. But Dee Dee is talking to her, and the things that Dee Dee is saying, excuse me, not Dee Dee, but the things that Mel is saying to Dee Dee and Shelly lets Dee Dee know that Mel thinks she's just full of it, and that she uses her daughter to profit. And Mel called her out on it. She was like, I saw you, and you used your daughter or whatever. And then that's when Shelly came about. So I guess she kind of just let it go, because Mel doesn't want Dee Dee does not want a bad reputation. Y'all forgive me. For the first episode, I'm probably going to get these names confused. But once we get going in the second, third, fourth review, I'll be able to keep it straight. Sorry about that. So Gypsy's while Mel is doing this, Mel, Dee Dee, and Shelly are talking. Gypsy is at home and she gets online because she wants a computer, but her mom won't let her have one, so she has to use the one that Dee Dee owns. So while she's online, she's looking up like best friends, first kiss, and all that kind of stuff. And then she hears Dee Dee coming and she deletes the history. So Dee Dee tells her she's upset and everything because Mel doesn't really like her. She didn't leave a great first impression. And Gypsy's like, well, Mom, why don't you just make some gumbo? Everyone loves your gumbo, and just have like a get together, a gathering. And Dee Dee is like, okay, that sounds like a great idea. And then they say, let's have some pizza because Dee Dee is so worn out. She doesn't want to cook. And so she's making her the pizza, and she's putting the Pedialyte and Ensure or whatever that is in there. And she's breaking it down so that Gypsy will be able to have it through her feeding tube. So everybody comes out to Dee Dee's cookout. She has this big cookout at her home. All these people, like the whole neighborhood, ends up coming out. It looks like the only person who doesn't come is Mel, and that's because Mel knows she's full of it. So in the whole cookout, you could tell the way Dee Dee sees Gypsy because she had her with all the smaller kids, like playing with balloons. She even told Dee Dee, Dee Dee even told Gypsy, here's a balloon to play with, Gypsy. Isn't that so nice and everything? And Gypsy is miserable because like she wants to be around kids like Lacey's age. She wants to be around the older kids, but her mom has her almost like Dee Dee wants everyone to think that Gypsy is slow. Well, not slow, but mentally challenged. Or can't. It's almost like she wants people to believe she has the mind of a child, because those children that were around Gypsy were way younger than her. But anyways, so as they're doing, they're having the cookout, Gypsy sees Lacey and her boyfriend, and she sees her boyfriend like take some pink frosting, put it on his finger, and Lacey licked it off and everything. So later on, as the cookout is going on, Gypsy is talking to Lacey and her friends. She finally gets to talk to them, and then they have to go. So Lacey tells her, oh, we have to go, and Gypsy's like, I want to go too, and she was like, I don't think your mom would let you go, but I'll come over and visit with you later. And so as that's going on, we see Dee Dee talking to Shelly and all of them, and she's still giving her woe is me speech about everything that's wrong with Gypsy, all of the way she has to take care of her. And as she's doing that, Mel comes over, and Shelly goes and gets Mel some of the gumbo, and then Mel and Dee Dee starts speaking. And Mel once again tells Dee Dee, like, you're using your child to steal, and you're a fraud, and this is a good mother act, and you're not like that. And Dee Dee just starts telling her about all of their hard times, and she's the only thing that Gypsy has, and she can't afford nice things for her or any of that, and the dad doesn't help, and so you can see it's kind of starting to work on Mel. And then Dee Dee looks across and she sees Gypsy, who has now gotten a cupcake and put the frosting on her finger and is licking it off. So that puts Dee Dee into this flight panic mode, and she's like, oh my gosh, I gotta rush her to the hospital. And so Mel tells Shelly, oh, she's allergic to sugar. And so they see all of the panic from Dee Dee, and and it just looks like a mother who just so cares about her child. And so it makes Mel kind of be like, oh man, like maybe I had her wrong, and she just stole because it was not something nice that she can't afford for her daughter and her, because Dee Dee told Mel she's not gonna live long, and I can't afford it, so I just want her something nice. So then we see that Gypsy is at the hospital, and you can hear what's going on, but you can't really understand, but you can see that Gypsy is listening to Dee Dee and the doctor speak. And then then the next scene, we see them coming out of the hospital, and Dee Dee's just telling Gypsy, "Oh, I almost lost you, and I can't believe you did that. You gotta promise me." And she's like upset, and she starts crying. She was crying, had tears in her eyes, and was crying, and she was hugging Gypsy. And then Mel shows up, so she sees Dee Dee in this vulnerable moment, like she's almost lost her child and everything. And so they just agree on a fresh start because Mel shows up because Dee Dee left her wallet behind, and so they just agree on a fresh start because Dee Dee says, I had a bad reputation in Louisiana, and all that kind of stuff, and Mel's heart is softened because she see, Dee Dee really did go to the hospital with her daughter, so she's thinking everything that Dee Dee is saying is the truth now. And she was like, well, my her father, the father of her children ran off 2 males, so she understands if Dee Dee had to do what she had to do, to try to make her child happy and everything, and because Mel has done some things she's not proud of. She doesn't feel bad for her, but she's not proud. She wouldn't just openly tell everybody. She's not. So she's like, let's just do a fresh start. So they agree on a fresh start. So then we go forward, we flash forward, and the woman has come and she says, "Is that my warrant?" And they say yes. So they go into the house of because this is 2015. So they go into the house of Dee Dee and Gypsy's, and they're walking through, and like there's stuffed animals everywhere. Like it looks like a carnival has erupted in their home, exploded in their home. And so they go to the bedroom and they pull back the covers and they see Dee Dee has, deceased because she has stab wounds in her back and everything. So they see she was murdered. And so they come outside and Mel and Lacey are there and they're like, what's going on with Dee Dee? And they tell them that, she's deceased. And they was like, this is a homicide. And they're like, well, where's Gypsy? Where in the world is Gypsy? And so then we flash back to seeing Gypsy, is getting into bed and everything from her mom because her mom has put her in the bed, put her the mask and everything on, and we see Dee Dee go to the medicine cabinet, and I think all those medicines are Gypsy's medicines, but she's taking them, and like you're only supposed to take 1 Xanax, and she's taking 2. Like she's a pill popper, and that's what it looks like, or that she just pops a lot of pills. So then we see that she goes to this drawer, and it has money. She opened up the mail, and Dee Dee's Gypsy's father is giving support checks, and they're like 50, I think it was 1,500, so they're not small amounts, but he's sending money, so he's not at least financially, it doesn't seem like he's this deadbeat that she's claiming that he is, because you have the funds. Whether she's spending them or not, we don't know, but we know that she's receiving them. So I don't know. So then we see that Gypsy wakes up in the middle of the night and she takes her mask off. And so we see that Gypsy can actually walk because she goes to the kitchen. After her legs not being used all day, she has to stretch them out and everything. But she does walk. She tiptoes to the kitchen. So that lets you know she's done this before. So she goes to the kitchen and she takes out some Ready Whip, which is, sugar and everything, because we find out that she heard the doctor tell her mom Gypsy does not have a sugar allergy, and because the Pediasure or Pediasure, I think he said that you're giving her has way more sugar, like it has a ton of sugar in it. So if she had a sugar allergy, that would have taken her out. And she was like, well, there's something wrong with her. But it's just, so it further shows you that her mother is just so cunning and conniving that she even is thinking that she can get it over on the doctor as well. So anyway, Gypsy puts the sugar on her fingers and she gets her EpiPen and everything out. And that's another thing too. Her mother stabbed her with the EpiPen when she licked the cupcake and everything, and everybody's just like, oh my gosh, just the dramatic effects of it all. But anyways, so Gypsy licks she gets the EpiPen just in case something does happen. So Gypsy takes, she eats the whipped cream, the ready whip off her fingers, and nothing happens. And she realizes, I don't know if Gypsy wanted to acknowledge in that moment that she knows her mother is lying, but she realizes she's not as sick as her mother wants her to believe she is. She does realize that much of it. So then Gypsy heads back, she stretches out again and she heads back to bed. And as she's going to bed, her mother is there sitting up on the bed, and she tells Gypsy, get into bed. And it's just a weird and crazy way she's saying that to her. Like, she just makes Gypsy get into bed. So Gypsy gets in the bed, puts her mask on and everything, and she starts rubbing her, talking about my baby, my baby. And like, you could see the sickness of her mother, not wanting her to grow up, not wanting to acknowledge that you have a healthy teenage, young lady as your daughter, and not this sick woman, sick little girl that you want her to be. And so Gypsy turns away. From her mother as they're in bed. And it also, like, why they have a lot of rooms in that home, so why are they having to share the same room is a question. Why are y'all sharing the same room? So anyways, that was the act. Sorry about the name confusion, y'all, but I'll get it better. But yeah, that was the act. I really enjoyed the series and everything. I think they selected wonderful actors for it. It's just like, just seeing how that could actually happen, like just seeing how controlling Gypsy's mother was and is, and was, and everything is just crazy. And yeah, it's just and the way she just kept, like, all of the medications and all of the forcing Gypsy to be in the wheelchair all of the time. Gypsy can actually walk, and just not just always, it's oh my baby, and it's always woe is me, and I'm so if it wasn't for me, Gypsy, I don't know where Gypsy would be. It's almost like she wants people to constantly, like, be like, oh my gosh, look at the type of person you are, look at the type of mother you are, even though she's inflicting that on herself, because that she gets pleasure out of that. So anyways, if you haven't heard about the real story, which I'm sure y'all probably have if you're watching this, and everything, you can just Google it and you can find out and get an update on where Gypsy is now and all of that. So anyways, that was season 1, episode 1 of The Act. Just introducing us to Gypsy and Mel and Lacey and Dee Dee and everyone. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and I will come with the next few episodes until we get all caught up for Wednesday's new episode.